Does this sound familiar? It's January 1st. You set big goals, you start strong, and for a few days you feel unstoppable. But then you miss one day, and somehow all of a sudden everything starts to fall apart. If that happens to you again and again, here's the uncomfortable question. What if the problem isn't you? What if, instead, the goal itself is built on the wrong foundation? In this video, I'll show you a simple way to test that. Let's be honest, there are goals that feel energizing, and then there are goals that feel like a chore. These are the ones where we start blaming ourselves for. We procrastinate, we feel guilty, we start looking for ways to force it. More discipline, stricter routines, better systems, whatever. So you try to push through. You set reminders, you track habits, you tell yourself, this time I'll be consistent. And it might work for a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, but then life happens. You only miss one day and suddenly the whole thing collapses. Not because you're weak, but because the goal only moves when you push for it. You don't wake up thinking, I can't wait to do this. You wake up thinking, ugh, I have to do this again. But instead of giving up and feeling bad, pause for a second. Don't moralize procrastination. Treat it as information. It's a signal that something about this goal is off. The question isn't, how do I become more disciplined? The question is, why does this goal need so much force? And here's why this happens. It turns out that a lot of goals are kind of copy-pasted. We absorb these pictures of what a good life looks like, being fit, wealthy, productive, admired. And especially in January, those goals feel exciting because they come with an identity fantasy. The new me, the new year, clean slate, new identity kind of thing. Let's take a super common one. A lot of people want to get fit or lose some weight. And that can be a great goal, but for many people what's actually happening is this. You're not chasing fitness, you're chasing the idea of being a kind of person that is fit. A version of you that looks good, feels confident, gets approval, maybe finally feels enough. So you go all in. New gym membership, strict plan, no sugar, 5 workouts a week. And for a few days it feels amazing because you're living inside the identity fantasy. But then day-to-day life hits. You have a stressful week, you miss a workout, you eat something unplanned, and suddenly the fantasy disappears and the goal loses its fuel. And now it feels like pressure, like punishment, like I'm failing again. And here's the key distinction. Some goals are yours. They are aligned with who you are and what you deeply care about. You would still want to do them even if nobody knew, because they generally improve your life. Other goals, however, are borrowed. They're built on approval, comparison, or the fear of being behind. The idea of achieving these goals feels great, but the why behind it is vague and blurry. The tricky part is that you usually can't tell in the beginning, because we don't choose borrowed goals consciously, and we only realize it after friction shows up. Alright, so if procrastination is information, the next step is simple. We need a way to find out what this goal is really about. And to do so, we leverage a method famously taught by Toyota. Yes, the car manufacturer. It's called the 5 whys. In engineering, when something breaks, you don't just treat the symptoms. You ask why until you find the root cause. And we can do the very same thing with our goals. All it takes is asking why 5 times in a row. Not to judge yourself, but to find the real driver. Start by writing down your goal as a sentence. The more precise, the better. Then ask yourself, why do I want this? Try to answer it in a single sentence. Then ask why again based on that last answer. Repeat this 3 to 5 times. At some point, you'll notice that the answer changes. It stops being about the goal itself and becomes something deeper, like a value, a need, or a personal reason that actually matters to you. Let me show you an example end to end. Let's use the classic I want to lose weight. Ask yourself, why do I want it? Well, you might say maybe to look better. But then why? Maybe because I want to feel more confident? But why is that? Well, actually, because I want to go to social events again without feeling bad in my body. Oh, okay, but why though? Well, because I don't want to be lonely. Notice what just happened? We went from a rather generic to look better to a very personal, I long for human connection. Turns out it's not so much about being fit itself and much more about confidence and connection. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the wrong goal. Fitness might still be the right way to achieve it, although probably not the only one. What's more important is that we now know exactly why we want to achieve it. Because if you force yourself into a gym plan you hate, you are fighting yourself. But if you honor the real driver, you can choose actions that actually fit your life. And suddenly, you don't need constant force. Okay, Robin, I get it. But what if I don't have that aha moment of a clear why? Like, what if I stay on the surface even after several rounds of asking? Well, maybe the goal isn't really yours then. If your answers include things like because I'm supposed to or so people respect me, chances are you're aiming for the wrong things. Maybe it's more of a should than a real want. And that's why a clear why is so important. It helps us identify those borrowed goals in advance. So here's the takeaway. If a goal needs constant force, don't try harder. Instead, ask why until you find out what you actually care about. Use it to align your goal so it no longer feels like a chore. Now, go ahead, pick one goal that feels particularly hard and try it for yourself. Ask the 5 whys and see what happens. And if the goal changes, that's not failure. That's you getting honest. That's alignment. And if the misalignment sits deeper and you need extra support or guidance, check out my realignment program or reach out to me directly. Link in the description below. And now, I'd like to hear from you. What is one goal you've been forcing again and again? Share it in the comments below. And that's it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.